Hello, beautiful souls. My name is Jessie, and welcome back to another episode of Rewire to Inspire. The show where we'll dive into self-love, learn tangible ways to rewire the brain, and discovering your soul's purpose. The goal of Rewire to Inspire is to encourage listeners to begin doing the hard work, to get curious and open to maximizing your life. Our mindset shapes how we live. Depending on life events, traumas, and personal experiences, our mindsets are all vastly different. However, one thing we all have in common is the ability to rewire our mind, to change the narrative, and to pivot our lives. I hope you leave each episode with the belief that you are so worthy to live a life true to you. I look forward to chatting with you every single Tuesday and Thursday and helping you grow exponentially in all areas of your life. Without further ado, here's today's episode. Hello, beautiful souls. My name is Jessie, and welcome back to my podcast, Rewire to Inspire. I am super excited to be jumping on the microphone with you all for episode number 120. If you missed my last episode, it was all about one powerful question you need to ask yourself in order to focus on growing and evolving. It is a question that has quite literally transformed my life, transformed the life of some of my clients, and I hope that it does the same for you. If you are new here and you are tuning in for the first time, I welcome you to this space with open arms. I am so excited for how much this community and engagement has been growing over the last couple of months, and that is all thanks to you guys. So thank you guys so much for continuing to rate this show, for sharing this show, for just kind of sending me kind messages and expressing your kind words is the best way that I can put it. So beyond grateful. Thank you guys so much as always. And nonetheless, I am super, super excited to be jumping into today's episode. Today's episode is one that I hope also transforms your life and gives you new perspective. My goal on my podcast is to leave you guys with almost like a little taste of something to allow you to contemplate for self. I don't want to provide all the answers because that's not my role. My role as a podcaster and as a coach is never to give you all the answers. It is to give you the awareness for you to then contemplate for self, to draw your own unique conclusions. That can take time, that can take patience, and I know can also be frustrating because we all want to have A, B, and C, right? We don't want just A. We don't want to have to contemplate B to figure out C. We want the whole thing. And so in a way, if you leave my episodes and you leave this platform and you're contemplating for self and it rewires your mind in even one unique way to allow you permission to think differently, from my perspective, my job is done. Because the work comes from within, right? These are all things that I have recognized and I have lived through and I have had in my consciousness to work through. And so I want to be able to provide that for you guys as well. And so this week's episode is no different. And this is one that I hope lands for you guys because this has changed my life, my world, quite literally. And so today's topic is, what do you tie your confidence to? And really, is it accurate and is it serving you? So to kind of provide some context as always, there's kind of a couple stories I have for you guys. The first one is I am the assistant coach for group coaching for Next Level University. So basically every quarter there is a new group that starts of 10 individuals, all focused on improving their life holistically. In this platform, we set goals, we set habits, we track them. It's honestly amazing. It's super awesome. I know that sounds kind of lame in the beginning, but tracking habits is honestly life-changing because it's awareness and it allows you to form new habits. But there's been a couple groups that the goal that they had set for themselves. So basically they set one big goal for themselves. So we call that a most important metric. From there, they then set 3 other goals, one for health, one for wealth, one for love, and habits underneath of them. One thing that a lot of folks want to set as their most important goal during the course of the 3 months of group coaching is, I want to feel more confident. I have seen this goal time and time again. And although I resonate with that deeply because I know exactly what that's like even now on a daily basis of just wanting to feel more confident. Who doesn't want to feel more confident? It is something that I think inevitably in hindsight is really what we're all chasing. I think we do so in a way that is inaccurate because it comes from external things, not from within and in our heart and in our soul. And so inevitably from that perspective, we will never truly feel confident because it's in times, right? When we're all dolled up and we feel pretty, we feel confident. But as soon as we take all that off and get in our pajamas, we're like, ugh. Or anyways, I am, if anybody else can relate. But whenever somebody puts that as their goal, I've kind of learned to stop and to notice that and to bring it to their awareness. And I'll typically ask them this question, that is what today's episode is on, is, but what does confidence mean to you? Because when you feel confident versus when I feel confident looks completely different. And when I think that somebody else looks confident versus how they feel is also a whole new ball game, right? We can tell someone that they look great and they're doing great, and oh, I loved your speech, or oh, you played so good at that sports thing, or you're working so hard, but maybe those things don't actually make you feel confident. You're just like, yeah, that's how it is. It's who I am, whatever. I want you guys to leave this episode contemplating for yourself what you tie your confidence to. What action, thought, person, experience do you tie feeling good to? Do you tie feeling good with? Lately, I would say for the last, I want to say 2 weeks, man, oh man, I've been beating myself up. I have been having a hard time telling myself something kind. I've been struggling a little bit more emotionally, a little bit more mentally, and my confidence has just been lower. And so I have to be a detective and ask myself, okay, what has shifted? What hasn't shifted? What ignites this feeling? Because feeling confident as a goal is great, but how do we track that? How do we monitor that? What is your input or output that determines, yes, I feel confident today? It's typically a thought that we have, but it's often our brain picking up on something. Is it an outfit that you're wearing? Is it a conversation that you had? Is it a gesture someone did for you? Is it a message that you received? What is it that primes your mind to tell you, I feel good today. I feel confident today. And so I kind of had to start doing some digging for myself of, what is it? What is it that I'm not doing? And I realized that it's because a large part of it is because I kept breaking a promise to myself that I'm going to start a new yoga challenge. Hear me out. I know that sounds super silly. Deeper than that, what it is I made a promise to myself that I was going to do something and I didn't do it, which I have shared with you guys multiple times is one of the most toxic ways to burn a relationship with ourselves, is to say we're going to do something and then not show up for ourselves. It's just like if we have a friend that always promises something, they're going to do something. They say they're going to show up. They say, insert thing here. You have a friend that just keeps telling you they're going to do something and then never does it. Eventually, you start to kind of lose respect for that friend, and you start to almost push them away in a way because you're like, I can't trust what you're saying. You never follow through with what you're saying. I'm just going to distance myself. The thing is, we're no different with ourselves and with our mind. If we keep telling ourselves we're going to do something and we don't do it repeatedly over and over and over again, we're actually amplifying a toxic relationship with ourselves. We're starting to form that negative association with our own thoughts of like, yeah, right, you said you were going to do this and you didn't do it. And so for me, that's how I was feeling with the yoga. I was waking up the next morning feeling like crap, quite literally. And I was like, the first thought that popped in my head is, you didn't do yoga yesterday. You better do it today. And so it didn't take me long to figure it out. But again, I've been practicing and doing this for around 2 years now. So I'm starting to get better at building that correlation. But definitely me 2 years ago, honestly, even a year ago, would have had a really hard time correlating those two things together. And so there's a couple things that we can do. A, notice the promises that you're breaking to yourself. Do you keep saying, I'm not going to eat junk food tonight, and then you still do it? Oh, I'm not going to have a drink tonight, but then you're like, oh, I'll just have one. I'll start tomorrow. Oh, I'll start that workout tomorrow. Oh, well, I'll send that message tomorrow. I'll start that course tomorrow. I'll do insert thing here. But we do it over long periods of time. And the longer that time is, the more our self-worth is going to take a hit. The more we're going to start to feel crummy in general in life. It's almost like we have a backpack on, and every time we break a promise, we put a brick in the backpack. And it starts to get heavier and heavier until we take action. And then we're like, yes, that felt so good. Like, it's the same as when we haven't worked out in a long time and then we do. We're like, yes, I showed up. That felt so good. I'm so proud of myself. And then we don't show up again. And guess what? We feel like crap physically and mentally. And then we show up and then we feel really good. And it's holding on to that as well, of knowing that you're going to feel good after you do it. That can also help in this arena, because even the yoga thing, it's like, I love yoga. It's one of my favorite things in the whole world. But sometimes the hardest thing is just showing up to the mat. And if you're watching video, I'm so sorry. Speaking of mat, I just had a huge tangle in my hair. Showing up is always the best part. It is the hardest part, but once you show up, at least you've shown up. That is the thing. At least show up for yourself in whatever area. But getting curious about what you tie your confidence to. Is that working out? Is that keeping those promises to yourself, which is for all of us? Is money something that drives into your confidence? That's been another thing that's been stressing me out. I'm sure so many of us can relate. Money is a really, really hard and frustrating subject right now, given the economy that we live in. It seems like every avenue is a dead avenue, and there's just not enough resources, and everything is so expensive, and it starts to affect my mental health. And so I likely tie a little bit of my confidence to the amount of money I have in my bank account. I know that about myself. Is that true for you? Is love true for you? If you are not receiving love from other people, does your confidence start to take a hit? If you're not getting validation from other people, does your confidence start to dwindle? What's a good example of something else that we could tie our confidence to? Maybe it's doing something you're passionate about. Maybe it's a hobby. Maybe if you haven't done your particular hobby in a long time, you're starting to feel kind of crummy about yourself. Get to know yourself best, because again, I think a lot of this comes down to our values. I can look at my values beside me and I have ambition, humility, creativity, curiosity, and impact. These have shifted a little bit, but I know that these are some of my top core values. And so I know that the times that I'm not receiving those for myself and practicing those for myself, somewhere down the line, my confidence takes a hit. And so I want you to ask yourself, have you been feeling confident lately? The answer is yes. Get curious about why. What's been going good that leaks into that? What pours into that for you? And on the reverse of that, if you haven't been feeling confident for a while, for years, you feel like ever, how can we start to form that relationship with yourself of what those things are that make you feel good? They are going to be unique for all of us, which is why, like I prefaced at the beginning of this episode, I cannot give you everything. I can just give you the things to contemplate, to allow you to go within, and I can be here as your coach to support you with that. But the thing is we have to begin to tap in what we correlate our confidence to from self. And sometimes this might be hard. It can take time to do this. But one thing that I've been finding helpful is journaling every day. If I'm feeling really good, I like to reflect on why that might be. I've been on it with my work. I haven't been procrastinating. I've been showing up. I've been doing my workouts. I've been tracking my habits. I've been reading every day. I've been eating good. And I'm like, boom, okay, I feel confident. And then on the weeks where I'm not really showing up to the best of my ability, aka maximizing my potential, my confidence almost always takes a hit. And so begin to look at your life. The days you feel good, I encourage you to ponder for yourself before you go to sleep. What went really good today that poured into this? And on the days that maybe you're not feeling so good, what do I think I could have done better today that I can do tomorrow that might make me feel most optimal? And where are you letting yourself down? That is likely an area that is leaking into you not feeling very confident. Is where are you letting yourself down? Is it an area that you could be doing better, but you're just finding excuses for yourself? That likely is affecting your confidence big time. In retrospect, where do I feel the best? Where are the times that I feel my best, my most aligned, my most fulfilled? Is it around certain people? Is it when I'm doing a certain action? Because right now when I'm podcasting, I end up inevitably starting to feel confident. Why is that? Well, I'm checking off my to-do list. I am in flow with my core values. I am doing something that I am passionate about. And so, of course, I'm going to inevitably start to feel confident. And I don't want you to just view confident as how you look at yourself physically in the mirror. Confidence is not always about, and it's not always about how we view ourselves about the physical. It is mentally, how are you feeling? Closing our eyes can be really powerful for this practice because we will look in the mirror and nitpick every little thing we don't like about ourselves. How are you feeling about your confidence 0 to 10 when you close your eyes and ask yourself? That is going to be the most accurate answer, not when looking in the mirror and being like, oh, I'm bloated today, or I hate my outfit, or this or that, or my hair is dry, or the other thing. No, start unphysical and then bring physical in as a component to it. But starting from inside out is the best way to build sustainable confidence versus just short-term physical appearance on the outside. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. I know this one can be a lot, but I also think it's one of the most empowering things we can ask ourselves because we can double down on the things that make us feel good and make us feel aligned, make us feel confident. What do you tie your confidence to? If you're looking for support with this, my link is below to book a free 30-minute call. Again, I'm not going to sell you on anything. My goal is just to connect with you, see how I can support you, and if it is aligned for me to become your coach, I would absolutely love that opportunity as well. So thank you guys so much for tuning into episode 120 of Rewire to Inspire. I look forward to chatting with you all next week. Bye, you guys. Thank you all so much for tuning into today's episode of Rewire to Inspire. I absolutely love connecting with you all, so make sure you're following me on Instagram. I am at Jessie Brown 13. If you enjoyed today's episode, please feel free to leave a review or share with someone you think would enjoy. I look forward to chatting with you all next episode. And remember, get out of your head and into your heart.